tulips are one of my favourite flowers, so today I'm going to do a design with tulips, and I'm going to use recycled things to make my container. Now the container, it's not just recycled, it's repurposed recycled, because I started with this about 2 years ago when I needed some pew ends, and I made pew ends from plastic wine glasses covered with string, little bead on the bottom and a piece to hang them up with. But then when I was clearing out my shed, as many of us have been doing recently, I found a stack of them and thought, they would go well with tulips because they are a tulip shape. So I covered them with, well, some were already covered with the natural twine. I did a couple of extras with some olive green twine so that it would reflect the colour of the lichen on the twigs that I'm using, which are here. So I started with my twigs. Now to make the container, actually, if you cover all your wine glasses and then put them to glue them upside down on a piece of baking parchment. If you try to glue them in your hand, you'll end up with them not parallel. You want them like that so that they stand properly. So to put them upside down and glue them, and make sure that each glass or each container, individual one, is glued with a glue gun in at least 2 points. Now I'm going to put some more of these twigs in here. The twigs I have actually wired together, the ones that are already on here, because they tend to go a bit wayward if you're not careful. I think those ones should be in there. That one in there. Just weave them through so that they make a nice framework for your tulips. Okay. A little bit more here. There's some of this, there are all sorts of different twigs because of course around here there's a lot of hedge cutting going on at the moment. So quite a few rather nice little pieces of twigs to be found on my daily walk. And these are some of them. So put another one in that end. The little stalk end of the cups is quite useful if you're using twigs and things or taller pieces of material, because you can actually wedge one piece down that bit there to keep it upright. So there we go with our twigs. And now the tulips. So it's just going to be a mass of tulips, different coloured tulips. I'm cutting them fairly small, fairly short, because of course they will continue growing while they're in the design, and they might start off at that level, but by the time the design has had its day, they will be considerably taller. So I don't want to start off with them too tall, or see, that's what happens when you don't wire your bits of wood together. So different shades, and just plonk them in the cups. Now this sort of container, you can actually make just a circle, a ring of wine glasses. You'll need 7, 1 in the middle, 6 round the outside, and that makes quite a nice small round container to put in the centre of a table. They're a good way of displaying any sort of spring garden flowers, the sort that really don't want to be in foam. So we can just carry on feeding these through the twigs. We'll have that one on that side so that it shows more colour. That's it. Now I went, obviously, in your local supermarket at the moment. Most supermarkets do bunches of tulips. You can get mixed bunches, you can get single colour bunches, and they are really quite good value. So rather nice and a good way to bring some really bright colour into your home. This one sits in my hall, so it's quite a nice welcome when we come back in. Just let that one flop over the side. It'll be standing upright by tomorrow. But we all expect that with tulips. To have plenty of tulips in my garden this year, I decided in the summer that I was going to give up part of my lawn. We have an area at the side of the house that has lots of apple trees in it, and mowing quite a large area of lawn becomes increasingly tedious, as I'm sure you can imagine. So I decided that I would turn it over to wildflowers and bulbs. So I've just mown paths through, and in the summer I planted about 250 different bulbs, tulips, different varieties of daffodils, camassia, crocus, fritillaries in some places. So I've got different heights and different forms of flower in my garden. I'm still going to have to cut the grass at some time during the year, but not quite as frequently as trying to keep it bowling green shorter. So it's taken a little bit of pressure off, and I can't wait to I keep going outside to see how far up they are coming. And of course, after the frost and the cold we had recently, there wasn't a lot to see, but in the last week, since the weather warmed up a bit, they have absolutely shot up. I'll just turn that round and show you. So we just amass very informally arranged. They're not really arranged at all. They're just placed in these little cups to give it a lovely mass of bright colour. There we go. A few yellow ones over this side to bring the colour right the way through. Okay. Last few to go in. Find at the bottom of my basket. Oh, I've lost one. So it's not quite so curly. Just to keep disappearing off the side of this table, actually. Now I think I have two of the large bunches of tulips in here, so there are probably about 24 to no, wait a minute, there's 24 in a bunch, something like that. So there's probably quite a lot actually going in here, and move that out of the way and turn that round, and there we are. A bright bowl full or design of tulips.